Hello, it's Jane Birkinshaw from Love Your Lens here. I'm here to talk to you today about the images submitted for our theme of Break back in June. So thank you to everybody who submitted the images, and for those of you who have joined the group more recently, we have a monthly photograph challenge, and I take my favourite images at the end of the month. I take a look through them and select a number of them. And out of all of those favourites, I try and select one absolute favourite, which is usually really difficult to do. What I'm always looking for is the picture to be technically good, so it's well exposed, it's in focus, and it's got a good composition. Now, this particular theme, Break, it was interesting to see how people interpreted it, and it was in some ways the interpretation that led to the strongest images, how you interpreted it, the imagination that you had, the story that you were telling, and whether you made an emotional connection with the viewer as well. It's quite interesting with this type of challenge when it's not just about composition. Because sometimes the story is so strong, the composition can be a little bit weak, but the whole story carries the picture, and you can forgive the person that takes the picture for perhaps not having got the composition as strong as possible, because they had to press the shutter in an instant to capture what they were seeing and to tell the story. And the photographer Henri Cartier-Bresson had a phrase that he used, and this was called capturing the decisive moment, which was you pressing the shutter button at exactly the right time to tell the story and make that emotional connection. Now, he'd got the skill as well of making the composition extremely strong as well. But obviously that takes a lot of practice, luck, all sorts of other things. There were lots of great ideas submitted, but sometimes the focus or exposure was off and weakened the final shot. So these are the ones that I've chosen. Fantastic, strong collage here. Really impressed with the quality of these images. I've made that comment on Facebook already. And I'm going to go through now and talk quickly about each individual picture in this collage. So our first one is this guy. Now, at first glance, I thought this was a homeless person sitting, and the caption was all about sometimes you just need a break. Looking at him a bit closer, I'm not sure he is homeless. He might be. Not that makes any difference to the picture. The story is still there, that the way he's looking heavenward, he really does look like he just needs a break. I love the fact that it's in black and white. There's a lot of really nice textures. And when you kind of analyse a shot, one of the things that works about the composition of this, and we've done this as a theme, is the pleasing triangle shape that you can see made up by the grouping of his bag and himself here. So a great spot, and I think his eyes make the shot, to be honest, and make it count for the theme. So that one was by Sammy Moore Williams. Okay, then we've got a shot by Sheena Hatton, and this is presumably a mosquito, some nasty looking insect that would give you a bit of a bite anyway, trying to break through some presumably quite tough piece of fabric here that he's not going to quite be able to make. I think that I love the gold and the silver in this image, and then this burst of sort of greeny aqua at the top. The detail's fantastic. It fits the brief in terms of the story. The only element I found a bit distracting was this bright flashy area here, and I did wonder what would happen if you did a different crop on this, so more of a portrait crop would give it that. So anyway, you can all make your minds up on that. Really strong shot, and my eyes have just been drawn to the shadow as well here. Really crisp, clean shadow as well. So yeah, really liked that one, Sheena, and the interpretation as well. I'll just undo the crop so that you can all make your own mind up as to which you prefer. Then we've got this one by Tina Cook, a poppy with the beautiful leaves having fallen off and a lot of the stamens having broken off as well. So this was sort of breaking the beauty of that poppy, but I think everyone would also agree that it's still very beautiful in its broken state as well. oops, this always does this. Those of you that are familiar with me using this particular app or software will know that my mouse gets a bit lively. I really like the detail on the poppy head here. It somehow looks really fresh and vulnerable and green, doesn't it? Because you often see poppy heads all dried out. There's a lovely depth of field to this, but it is sharply in focus where it needs to be. So great capture there, Tina. Thank you. Then this is one of the ones that I was talking about where it's about the story, and the composition's fine in this actually, Thomas Batsenwell, but it's not so much about the composition in this shot. It's more about the story that's being told, the unusual subject, and that's what grabs our interest. This amazing building, amazing reflection, and this is just a loo. So this woman has just had a loo break, and I'm not sure if she's looking in astonishment at being photographed or she actually hasn't seen you there, Thomas. But yeah, my daughter saw this picture and just wanted to go there straight away. She said, what a great place to do selfies. Very typical of the teenagers of our day on, isn't it? So lovely, interesting capture there, Thomas. Thank you very much. Then another one where perhaps the composition doesn't have to be as strong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, like I said, but it's more about the story that you're telling here. This guy taking a well-earned fag break. We've got a few of those, I think, from being a chauffeur on a wedding day. And, you know, you had to capture this at the right moment. You had to be there. You had to see it. And that's what Liz Kenny did in this. Then we've got another shot by Janet Pope. This one is a car. It's a breakdown, and it's an interesting car. We're in an interesting place with lots of texture and detail going on in the background. It's a nice candid shot. It tells its own little story, and that's strong enough for it to, you know, make the grade basically. I'm just looking to see, for some reason I do feel like there's a triangular shape with the men going on there as well. She's filled the frame and captured an interesting moment, so that's great, Janet. Then we've got this shot by Jude Parkin where she's worked on the theme of eggs, broken eggs. And I love this idea. Eggs are great to learn about light with. You know, if you kind of wanting to learn about how light hits objects and have a play at manipulating the light and things like that, eggs are great subjects to work with. I would have liked to potentially have seen it off centre a bit. I couldn't quite figure out why this was dented in. It infers that it's some kind of soft surface, isn't it, that you've placed that on. And I would have also liked to have seen it in colour because eggs are such interesting shades as well, aren't they? Sorry about that. So yeah, but great. Oh, the other comment I was going to make as well is still life like this, it can be interesting to see it with slightly more depth of field. So I wasn't even touching anything then, honestly. Slightly more depth of field, so I'm making that F number a little bit higher and getting this area here to be a little bit more in focus. Just a different way of treating it, really. But great concept, and really nice to see you experimenting there, Jude. Then we've got, excuse my phone beeping in the background. Then we've got this shot by Nicola Tracy. I really like this. There's several things that work about it. You're kind of asking yourself, is she some kind of model? Is she on a break from something? She looks quite glamorous. It's a great symmetrical composition. And the angle that it's been taken from lower down is interesting as well. There's not everyone would think of choosing that angle. So I think it's a great sort of portrait of somebody, and works really, really well with the brief as well. Fag break, cigarette break, if we're being posh. Another one I love, a candid moment, great street photography. Lovely composition, very symmetrical again, a real symmetry straight down the middle here. Lovely that all we see of the background is concrete, framed by all this concrete. Works really, really well. Fantastic angle to have taken this shot from. And this one is by Amanda Smith, and I think it's a really strong capture, Amanda. Well done. Not only does it capture the decisive moment, but it's also got everything in the elements of composition as well, and absolutely meets the brief. Then we've got this one. Somebody had to do it, didn't they? Take a break, Kit Kat. In this instance, it was Emma Hayes. And it's mainly for that I've picked this out, that it's, you know, it meets the brief, it's humorous, and the colours are quite well chosen as well in her background, the pink of the mug, the pink of this, I know that's a photo board, Emma, because I think I own that one, and your focus is spot on your Kit Kat as well, so thank you for delivering that to us and putting us all out of our misery. This is another shot by Sammy Moore Williams, and it's great. I mean, obviously, well, I said to Sammy she could have sold this, but then she said she was a bit late, kind of like realising how good it was, and probably even, you know, knowing who to send it off to and everything. I love the direct eye contact with Harry. Megan's looking beautiful. It's a lovely composition. There's a sort of a nice diagonal line across here. Lovely bokeh. I really like the fact that it's been rendered in black and white. I would imagine that the original was extremely colourful and probably equally nice to look at. But I think the black and white just renders it, you know, the simplicity of it, and it means that you take in all of the detail and concentrate on their faces as well. Great capture, Sammy. Then we've got this shot by Janet Pope, another one by Janet. I studied this for quite a while because I couldn't really work out at first what I liked about it so much. I mean, to me, this big rock in the foreground almost has an organic form. It almost feels like it could be a big seal or sea lion lying there. I like the choice of black and white for it in terms of how it's, you know, capturing the texture of the rock and the beach and the moment that the wave breaks. My only criticism would have been to have had that wave breaking just a little bit higher above the horizon. This is called separation, when you get it either under the horizon or over it, but not quite on it. Very hard to do. Obviously, you know, the wave only goes as high as it goes. You can change your angle a little bit, of course, get down lower or higher, and that would change the separation. But I know you're capturing a moment in time when, you know, that wave breaks. That's it. Okay, but lovely job there, Janet. Good few images you've submitted this month. Then we've got the first of a few by Alan. I think most people in the group love Alan's photography. Very good eye, strong composition, and you know, he seems to live in a nice part of the world and get out and about as well. So here we've got a guy taking a break on a breakwater, so double tick there. You could even say that the sun is breaking the horizon, but I don't know whether it's dawn or dusk in this particular image. I like the flip-flops, nice little detail of his flip-flops on there, the silhouette, the colours, the golden water down here. So the composition's bob on, and it's great for the story as well. It's a really lovely capture. And then another one by Alan, and again, all the same reasons. It's really strong composition, nice story, strong breaking wave up on there. We know how it feels on that beach. We know how beautiful it looks. We can see the power of the waves, and how much, you know, this dog walk is being endured. I was going to say enjoyed. Hopefully, it's being enjoyed as well as endured. So great shot, Alan. Again, thank you very much. Then we have this shot by Tim Heslop, and I held this one back until almost the end because I thought it was a really strong landscape. The light's beautiful, the composition's gorgeous. You've got your foreground interest here, you've got a lovely sweeping line around here, you've got a beautiful sky, you've got a little bit of interest here, and it's mainly the lights, I think, that got me on this one. So really nice shot, Tim. Well captured, well done. And then on to my favourite. Now, again, it's Alan, and the reason I chose this one in the end, I mean, it's a beautiful picture. He's got the sun breaking through kind of twice here, which is really quite stunning. It's got a lovely, peaceful feel to it. I could feel myself standing there and feeling the air, smelling the sort of like the grass and the feel of the dew, knowing I've got wet feet. And the sky's just beautiful, and also, I mean, it was because of the technical difficulty of this picture as well. Those of us who've been out there and tried to photograph bright skies will know that the tendency is for this to be quite a silhouette here, and Alan has had to edit to get this shot to be to appear as it would if we were standing there. This is exactly how that would look, rather than as the camera would capture it, which would be to get it too dark in these shadowy areas. So it ticks the boxes on every level for me: the composition, the technical aspects of it, telling the story, meeting the brief, conjuring up an atmosphere. So well done, Alan. That's absolutely fantastic shot, and keep them coming. But everyone else, remember, yes, we have got some really strong photographers in the group, but bear in mind, please, that I do look at everybody's pictures and do endeavour to pick out people who I think have made a really good effort, who've told a good, funny story. So don't feel like, it's not worth you having a go. That's so not the case. I would really want to emphasise that. And I hope you all appreciate why I chose this shot. But of course, you will all have your personal opinions as to which were your favourites. And thank you again for your time. Please go away and keep submitting images for, that sounded really rude, didn't it? Please go away. I didn't mean that. Please keep submitting your images for Negative Space. I am about to do the email for that. I've had some email problems and lots of other things going on, not least the triathlon, which you're all welcome to come watch in Chester this Sunday if you like. Watch me sweating and half dying getting around the course. But yeah, keep those images coming and keep posting, keep asking questions, and thank you for being such a lovely group. Okay, bye.